So right now, we get to welcome in Graham Rents from the Show Me Institute, talking about, as we always do, how your tax money is being spent. And interestingly, if you live in Chesterfield, you're about to get a new ice rink. Is that correct, Graham?
You might be, yeah.
Well, hold on just a minute. We got to get that mic is not on. Hold
Sorry.
on. Let's try that again.
There we go.
Are we good now?
There we go. Now
All
we
right,
can hear
here I
you.
am.
Go ahead.
Okay, so last week, some listeners, and you might remember, we were talking about STDs, and not the kind that you need penicillin for.
They're right, exactly.
Not the kind you need penicillin for, but what's known as special taxing districts, and they got all sorts of names, but more or less what they do is there's a special district you can draw on a map, and you can impose new special sales or property taxes.
Right.
And there's a plan in Chesterfield right now. There's an ice rink there now called the Hardy's Ice Arena. It's going out of business. It's being sold to a golf company. And there's an effort to use these special taxing districts to help subsidize a third of the costs of a new ice complex. And so the question is, should tax dollars be used for a project on an ice arena when an ice arena just went out of business?
It's a legitimate question. So I know it's probably the ownership of the current arena that sold the property, and the new builder wants to tear that down and build one of those multi-story golf complexes there. Is that what I've heard?
Yeah,
it's coming in.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Top Golf is a
Top
business
Golf.
that's
Yeah,
coming
it's
in.
great.
Yep.
Great play. Went to one in Kansas City. Had a great time. So I'm thrilled that's coming in there. But was there belief, because that place used to be good enough for the Blues to practice in? It can't be sort of a rundown agency. I wonder why the city, if they really wanted an ice arena in there that bad, didn't just purchase this themselves.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and there's a lot of questions. And another question is, you mentioned that the city might go ahead and do this, and what's different, or what's might raise some eyebrows with this proposal is that it's a special taxing district is looking to subsidize this new facility. It's not the city of Chesterfield, so there's only going to be voters in about 100 households who get to vote on whether or not to extend a special tax to spend $7 million on a private ice facility. And so one question is, everybody's saying right now, well, Chesterfield is a hockey city, St. Louis is a hockey city, and good and well. But if that's the case, why is a special taxing district that's only going to have a few voters in it being why is that district proposing to spend this money and not the city of Chesterfield? Why not let everybody vote on it?
So I don't have all the numbers in front of me, but $7 million would be the tax portion of it?
Yes, that's right. So it's a $22.6 million facility being proposed, and they want $7 million tax dollars to help build it.
So it'd be a 3/8 cent sales tax on everybody who used that facility, or would the taxing district include other things in Chesterfield?
So yeah, it's not just folks who use this facility, right? It's anybody who shops in the Valley area is going to pay extra taxes so that a new facility can be subsidized, right? And so whether you're, a single mom who's buying groceries at Walmart, or you're buying a nightgown, or you're going to a coffee shop, you're going to Starbucks, you're paying extra taxes so that
to support a hockey arena, ice
right,
arena
that you very well may never use, right? And again, the question is, if there's all this demand that we're being told, if St. Louis Chesterfield is such a hockey town, why do we need to subsidize it, right? We subsidize so many things here in St. Louis.
From the city perspective, you subsidize what you want, right? So they pick and choose winners, as we've talked about before.
Absolutely.
Because I've had this discussion surrounding the Solyndra failure by the federal government a number of years ago, where they gave them billions of dollars, and then Solyndra went bankrupt. Mm-hmm. So they selectively, the Obama administration chose to give all that money to this solar company called Solyndra, which then went bankrupt, and all of that taxpayer money was gone because the government's agenda was to promote that sort of energy, so they felt that was a good expenditure of their money. Whereas my theory has always been, and Elon Musk would back it up, I would imagine, that if your product is good enough for market, if people are going to buy it, then you should be able to extend the capital to build it.
Yeah, absolutely, right, and that's it makes sense, and it should be the case much more than it is right now. But for some reason, right, there's not enough demand. So you know what? We can't cover the cost ourselves. We're going to get taxpayers to do it instead.
So you mentioned in your article, was this So the article is dated the 22nd. So this hearing at St. Charles, the Chesterfield City Council already took place, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So have they voted on it? Is it a done deal?
No. So what's going to happen? There's, we don't need to get too far into the weeds, but there was
Right.
just a hearing on the on this project to the Chesterfield Council, and the council ultimately doesn't decide if this is going to be a question that goes to the voters or not. There's this special taxing district has a board, and it's composed of St. Louis County and City of Chesterfield representatives, and they ultimately will vote on whether or not to put a proposal before voters in the special district to fund this.
So the special taxing district, you say here, collects taxes on the entire retail area south of I-64, which would be that corridor with the Home Depot and the Lowe's and the Walmart and all that stuff along THF Boulevard or whatever it is there.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, interesting.
So, yeah, and one question, it's a noble cause, right? We want to have a place for kids to skate. There's one
It's hard
thing,
to get ice time.
Yeah.
Why are we being so critical of this? I mean, seriously. Everybody needs ice time.
What if it was a knitting? What if Chesterfield was a knitting city, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Would these folks be okay subsidizing a knitting arena or a knitting hall of fame? Or if it was if we were a wrestling city, would we be subsidizing that? It's really easy to talk up these subsidies when you're the ones who are going to benefit from them.
Yeah.
But we always forget. Everybody forgets about the eternally forgotten man, the taxpayer. And, we need to speak up for the taxpayer every now and then. And this is a proposal we need to take a close look at and see are tax dollars really needed here.
Nobody does that better than the Show Me Institute. By the way, Liz raised her hand when you said wrestling because she's thinking of pro wrestling. She likes that professional wrestling, right? Yeah. That was what I was thinking of.
That's my favorite.
Who's your favorite wrestler right now? I know she'll come up with a name.
I have a bunch.
Come on, name one.
But probably Big Cass and Enzo.
Big Cass and Enzo.
Oh man, I was a high school wrestler, so I'm used to singlets and headgear.
Thank you. But your point is well taken, and I appreciate you making that. So, if you live in Chesterfield or you shop in Chesterfield, you may not end up having much of a say over this because ultimately it would be voted on by, you say, less than 100 households?
Yep, there's about 130 households in this district, and voters in those houses get a say, and nobody else does, but everybody who shops in the valley is going to pay for it.
Going to pay through the nose. I wonder what the total tax is on people who choose to shop in the Chesterfield Valley now. Any idea what that tax rate is?
No, I'm
not.
not.
Up over 10 cents yet?
It's probably close to 10 cents. You can look on the Department of Revenue website. It's right there. I could pull it up, but
I agree.
it's not off the top of my head.
I'm with you. All right. Sorry to put you on the spot. All right. Graham Rentz from the Show Me Institute, showmeinstitute.org. Go there. You can read more on this article and all the other great tax issues that they cover at the Show Me Institute. All right. Moving on.